Alright, so today I am going to show you the fix for the Laforge V4 buttons coming off. This particular fix is approved on the Facebook page for the Laforge Facebook page by Bruce. He issued this fix, and in his statement he said that this would not void your warranty because we're having problems with these buttons coming off, and I don't think it's necessarily a problem with the actual button strength. And this particular issue, this thing that we're going to do today is going to strengthen a little bit more, but in the end you have to be very careful when pulling this off. Like he said in his video on the Facebook page, this part locks in the buttons here, and so when you pull it off, let me put this down right here, when you pull it off, you're going to pull it from this side, but you got to make sure you bend these back to get it out. So I'm not going to put mine in and out knowing the issue here, but you cup it in, here, and then you put it down in there. So let me see. You see how the buttons pop in there, and then you put your SMA in last. But he showed that pretty clear on the Facebook page, but I just remember to go check that. But we are going to do that solder fix today, so just wanted to try to get it up nice and close here, and I need to lock it in my helping hands. Let's see here without breaking anything, obviously. Looks like that should be pretty good there. Usually two of these are better than one. So you'll see right here, just between the inside of the buttons and this little solder thing in below. Now obviously you need to do it on both sides, and it looks like he didn't really approve on the insides here. Looks like you could do it there, but I would just do it on the outsides here. Basically it's going to solder it to this pin right here, which kind of worries me a little bit, but I mean, he approved the fix, so I'm going to throw that in there to try to keep these buttons from falling off. Plus you don't want to short out your goggles. So let's go ahead and do that. Got to be really careful though, because obviously you don't want to get this board too hot. You also don't want the pin in the bottom there to fall out. So let's go ahead and see if we can do it here. Like I said, you got to be very careful not to get that pin too hot, or that pin will get out of line. It does have a little plastic piece on the bottom, so hopefully that helps keeps it in line a little bit. So it looks like this one is pretty successful. You don't need a lot. This is just to give it a little bit extra stabilization. Alright, so let's see if we can get this other side. Looks like it's going to be a little bit harder because of the way the alignment's going to have to be. Oh, can't get it to the bottom there. Come on, the other one worked pretty good. Alright, looks like I got it here. Man, that's pretty nerve-wracking there. You see right here, I've got that solder joint from this board down to the second board there. And then we'll look at the other one here. And of course, that one's going to be darker. If I can get you some more light here. Yeah, so you see how it's soldered to the bottom. That one's definitely not as good as the other one. But it's right there next to that light, so I gotta be really careful. But I think I got it there for enough support. And then of course that one's perfect right there. So hopefully that's going to help the buttons not fall off. Now the big thing here is before you put them in the goggles, you need to power them up first from an external source, because if there's something wrong here, if I've done something wrong here, then this will probably fry my goggles. So got me an external source here for 5 volts, just USB out of my computer. I guess I could fry my USB in my computer. So let's see here. I've got an external power thing here. Make sure that this is 5 volts here. Yes, this is a 5 volt power adapter. So we're gonna run it through this. All right. So another thing you're going to want to do before you power this up, just to double check anything, get your continuity meter going here, so you can hear that, just to make sure that any of these pins are not shortened out here. This focus thing is not very fun. Let's see here. Just want to make sure any of these 2 pins are not that I soldered next to are not shorted out here. So yep, them 2 not shorted out. What's that one is? Just make sure none of these are shorted out to anything, to the other one. And then the other pin that I did, I've got 2 pins beside it. So it's going to be kind of hard to, well, we'll just do it this way. Not shorted out against that one. Just gotta be careful not to bend these pins here. Not short out against that one. So from the top of these buttons here should be to the bottom of this pin here. Yep. And then this one, top of this button, should be that pin, but should not be the next pin. So looks like I've got to solder all the way through. Yep, so none of them other pins are shorting out. You've got to always check this stuff, or you'll end up frying something on just a little bitty bead of solder. So, alright, here is the moment of truth. We'll be powering it up through a USB 5 volts here. And let's see what happens. Come on, please work. And there is your module powered up. Of course it says no USB connection. I don't know if we can still run through things. Alright, so maybe, well, now that we know it's not going to fry, we'll plug it into the computer now. Alright, here we go. still no USB connection. That's probably because I don't have the Laforge module. We don't have the configurator yet, so I'll get it in the goggles and then I will show you that it is working correctly. So it makes it a lot easier to get this module in and out with the wires on the outside. I would imagine it'd be a little bit harder on the inside, but so you obviously got to make sure this plug is turned around the right way. Looks like the pins are down. Make sure that's all the way in. I guess, and then how we put our module back on. I sure hope that light's not blown out right there. We'll find out. So of course you put it in there on this end first to lock your buttons in there first, and then we'll have to, so I mean it is a tight fit here, so you got to be very, very careful, and you'll just push this pin back here. Make sure your wires are not pinched anywhere right there. I know this is not perfect video, so I do apologize, but I'm trying to get something here to help people out. This should pop in. See how it's got a slot there for it to go in. So there we go. Alright, make sure your wire's twisted how you want it here, and then you got to double check, make sure you don't put these break these pins trying to put them in, or pinch your wires. So make sure all of them are in right there in the right slots. Looks good. Alright, all the way in. Alright, so here is the next moment of truth, and that is to get them fired up. We've got signal, but my diversity module's not coming on, so we're going to need to reseat it and see what happens. Something with the plug or something. My diversity module was working just fine before, so yeah, it looks like maybe I didn't get it plugged in all the way. Looks like I've got it aligned correctly. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have it in all the way. Yeah, it looks a little bit more firm there. Probably pulled it out trying to get this thing back on here. So let's see. It's kind of hard when you're trying to record and get this, when you're delicate with something here. So probably just when I was trying to get that back in there, probably pulled it out a little bit. Let's make sure that it's not pulled out. Looks good. So this is not the easiest thing to do to get it in and out, but I can almost guarantee it's going to be easier with the wire on the outside here. Alright, come on, let's see what happens. Get this. Alright. Alright, there's our diversity module. Is working now. So I had just unplugged a little bit, so there it goes. We're all up and running on getting that fixed for the button. So hopefully, like once again, I do apologize. You know, getting close. My setup is not really good for getting really close. But hopefully that helped a little bit. Because I know Bruce did mention on his thing he didn't have one that wasn't soldered. So yeah. Alright, thanks very much for watching.
Make the ground shake.